What is the crack, everyone? It's Ollie from B2B Sports here. Unfortunately, the day has come. The Minnesota Vikings unbeaten streak comes to an end. The Detroit Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings 31-29 yesterday. It was an enthralling up and down game, a very competitive game. Like we all knew it would be, the Vikings simply ran out of time. And in a close game like this, the team that has the possession at the end will ultimately get the job done. And unfortunately for the Vikings, that was the case today. Bates hit a 44-yard field goal to secure the win for Detroit. Both teams are now 5-1. Detroit take over the number one position in the NFC North on head-to-head record. And also the Green Bay Packers with an impressive win over the Houston Texans yesterday. They also sit on 5 wins on 5-2. It's an extremely close division. Every single divisional game is like a playoff game at the moment. It's crazy. But before we jump into the ins and outs of the game, you know what to do. Whack the like button, give my channel a subscription. It really means the world. We had a couple of comments in the last video that really made my day. And this is exactly what I want my channel to be about. Like-minded Vikings fans, like-minded Chelsea fans, F1 fans, cricket fans, UFC fans, boxing fans, all coming together on this channel to talk about sports. But yeah, absolutely buzzing with where this channel is going at the moment. Right then, the first Vikings loss of the season. I've seen a lot of pundits, Twitter accounts, YouTube accounts, blogs, etc. completely losing their heads over this loss. I'd like the outlook on this channel to be mostly positive and optimistic. So that's what we're going to do today. In summary, I'm proud of the performance. Yes, there were a couple of individual mistakes in there, and yes, there were a couple of things that we could have done better on reflection. But we hung in there with the best team currently in the NFC. We fought back from adversity, something which we haven't actually done this season, in particular being 11 points down. We had a big chance to ice the game as well, which we'll get onto in a little bit. But on the whole, we played well, and I think that's what we should remember this game for. We had the opportunity to win it. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we didn't, but we played well, we hung in there, and we proved just exactly what this team is all about this year. I mean, I've even seen people call for Kevin O'Connell to be stripped of his play-calling abilities and given to Wes Phillips. This is a coach that was the candidate for Coach of the Year last week. None of that on this channel. Level-headedness, no reactionary opinions, and generally more on the positive side of things. Make no mistake about it, the Vikings defense had a strong start to this game. They stuffed the Lions offense in that first quarter, and the Vikings were all over them in all aspects. Now, in the last video, I said if the Lions want to play this trick play game in US Bank Stadium, they're going to pay for it, and ultimately that is what happened. Dan Campbell in the first quarter went for it on a fake punt, and it failed miserably. The Vikings weren't playing any games. You do not do that in the Vikings house. And from that point on, there was no obscene trickery from Ben Johnson and the Lions offense. I think they got on the message that they're actually in a dogfight this game. They're not playing the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World anymore. Aaron Jones had a good start to the game, an early rushing TD. I don't think we knew the full extent of the fitness of Aaron Jones coming back from that hamstring injury. But he seemed to go well. He seemed to be playing through the pain, and I think he had a good overall performance yesterday. But at what point do we have to say that Aaron Jones is probably the best receiving running back in the league? There were a number of occasions where Aaron Jones really looked like a receiver out there, and Darnold was using him just as that. Also, Will Reichard is my favourite Viking this year. Yep, I've said it. 3 for 3 on field goals this game. Perfect on field goals and point afters all year. I would have absolutely loved to see him have a go at a 68-yarder. I think that would have been an NFL record as well, but in the form he's in, why not? There's no doubt in my mind he would have nailed it. The Vikings were 10-0 up. They looked really good, really solid, and I thought, here we go again. We're gonna build a commanding lead. But no, the Lions came back. Jamar Gibbs with a monster 45-yard rushing touchdown. I think we might have got a little bit exposed in the run defense in this game. Blake Cashman being out was probably a bigger miss than most people thought. He's done so much of the dirty work this season, gone under the radar, and I think the Vikings really missed him in the rushing game yesterday. There's no doubt about it though, the Detroit Lions are one of the best rushing teams in the league. And that was with Montgomery going down early on in this game as well. The Lions quickly scored a second. Amon-Ra sent Brown with the touchdown. Jared Goff seemed very comfortable playing against the Vikings blitz. Brian Flores said it himself in the week. he's going to fight fire with fire, and that's just the way he does things. So we all knew the blitz was coming. It was just a matter of how Goff can deal with that. The Vikings defense seemed to get to Goff a little bit more in the second half, but in that second quarter, Goff was dealing. The Darnold interception in the second quarter was a bit of a killer. He was trying to aim for Addison and just completely didn't see Branch. On the whole, I thought Sam Darnold played pretty well. It was just that one killer moment again. As a result, from that interception, the Lions scored again. Gibbs with another TD run, 21-10 up the Lions were. The Vikings had to step up in the third quarter, and they did just that. They came back with a Justin Jefferson TD. That was after a little bit of controversy though. Jalen Naylor had the ball stripped from him as he went out of bounds, but rightly so on the replay. He was deemed to be out of bounds before the ball bobbled out. That would have been serious trouble at 27-10. The Lions just wouldn't go away though. Another TD, 28-17 this time. Raymond with the reception. Gilly slipped at the beginning of the play. Whether he would or not have got to him or not, I don't know. But another drive where the Lions were just able to march down the field a little bit too easily. All three phases in the fourth quarter played extremely well. Offense, defense, and Will Reichard. And this fast, aggressive Brian Flores defense stepped up again. With the forced fumble, Metellus punched the ball out. Ivan Pace Jr. with his scoop and score. Exactly when the Vikings needed it the most. They've done it time and time again this season. I'm just loving how aggressive and hungry this defense is for a turnover. They hunt in packs. It's always a combination of guys that contribute to a defensive touchdown. And it just seems to be someone else stepping up week in, week out. With a few minutes left in the game, the Vikings were in prime position to ice it. They were leading 28-29. But unfortunately, the Vikings stuttered out and allowed the Detroit Lions to have the ball back. And they just drove down the field too easily, in my opinion, and kicked the winning field goal. And although the way the Vikings fought back was super impressive, there were just a number of things that just didn't go their way today. The failed 2-point conversion from the Ivan Pace Jr. TD. There were a few sloppy penalties in key positions. The run defense struggled today. The Sam Darnold interception. I strongly believe that these are all things that could be cleaned up. And again, just sometimes it's not your day. I mean, look how close Jonathan Grenard was to having that strip sack of Jared Goff in the third quarter. The Harrison Phillips forced fumble that wasn't given a fumble on the field. The missed headhunting call on Sam Darnold from Branch. A couple of those things go the Vikings' way, and the Vikings are walking away 6-0 with a dub. Nevertheless, it was a great game, a performance to be proud of. We've got Hockenson and Reisner to come back. It's a short week this week. We've got the LA Rams on Thursday, so no time to cry about it. Just got to get up and move on to the next one. We all know how tough the NFC North is. You can't dwell on any games. You've just got to keep racking up the wins. Otherwise, you could quickly see yourself at the bottom of the division in a matter of weeks. Sometimes it's good to get humbled. The Detroit Lions are a hell of an outlier for this season. You know that they're going to be there or thereabouts in the playoffs. We play them again in Week 18, and I can seriously see us playing them again in the NFC Championship game, hopefully with a different outcome this time. But yeah, Vikings fans, let us know your thoughts down below. The unbeaten streak comes to an end. The Detroit Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings 31-29. But as always, thank you very much for watching and listening. On to the next, and SKOL Vikes. Peace out.